And I want to welcome you to another episode of Beyond the Surface Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer. I'm seated this afternoon to ask my listeners a question. What does it mean to be great? What does it mean to be great? Now, that may seem like a simple question, yet in truth, it's a question with some layers of complexity. Before I can even begin to discuss this topic, I want the listeners to take a moment to reflect. And I need you to dig deep in yourself and reflect on this question. Who are you when no one is looking? Who are you when no one is looking? Now, don't be scared. And you don't have to answer out loud. Only God and you know the truth. Just reflect on who you are when no one is looking. Let me give you a warning. The philosopher James Allen says, the soul attracts what it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and that which it fears. That's right. The soul calls to it what it is. Now we can start talking about what it means to be great. Well, we'll come back to the original question, the reflection question, a little later. Now, I researched the philosophy of some of the world's greatest thinkers: Confucius, Buddha, Socrates, Jesus, Muhammad. And what I want you to know is that they all agree that to be great is to know that you know nothing at all. That to be great is to know that you know nothing at all. As one man put it in his song, it seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. It is to recognize that there's always something new to learn, and that your role in this universe is not to be a know-it-all, but rather to be a student of it all. To be great. To be great is to recognize that thought and character are one. Your thought and your character are one. Your thoughts will manifest themselves in your character. They are one. You show me a man that thinks about music, and I'll show you a musician. You show me a man that thinks about stealing, and I'll show you a thief. What you think, you become. Now, years ago, I wanted to be an aerobics instructor. When I was 18 or 19 years old, fit and fine, I took a African dance class, first time ever taking it, from a gentleman named Victor Clottey. I don't believe he's teaching anymore. I don't know. But he was an incredible instructor. He was much older than me, but very fit, and he was a very powerful dancer. In any case, I was confident I could hang with him. The first time I took a class with Victor Clottey had to help me home, okay? Youth did not live up to what I thought it was going to live up to, because he was just a skilled dancer. Nonetheless, he said, "Why are you taking the course?" I said, "At some point I want to get fit enough to teach aerobics." And so from his class, I kind of wanted to quit. And he said, "No, you can't give up. You have to be persistent. You have to fight through the pain, fight through the being uncomfortable, and show back up." And I did what Victor Clottey asked me to do, and I mean, I was in pain. Within about 5 months, I was an aerobics instructor. I took the certification to be able to teach aerobics. I submitted my resume to a couple of gyms, and I ended up getting hired by the women's gym on the north side, and I ended up getting hired by another gym called Club Nouveau in Oak Park. Neither one of the gyms exists anymore, but that is an example of how what you think you become. I can honestly say that I wanted to become an aerobics instructor. I began to think about being an aerobics instructor, and then I put everything in place to make that manifest. Now I have to warn you, Every man is where he is by the law of his being. The thoughts which he built into his character have brought him here. It's not an accident that I became a aerobics instructor. In other words, it's not an accident that you are here today listening to me. It's not an accident that I host an internet radio show, or that I'm a professor or an author or a mom or married. These are all thoughts which built into my character. And all those thoughts brought me here today. Now, in light of that, you need to know that to be good is to recognize the need to guard your mind. We must guard our mind, people. The reality is that good thoughts produce good fruit. Bad thoughts produce bad fruit. And in this age of media, technology, we have to really be on top of that. We have to stand guard, almost like the guards in medieval time. Many times people send you images. They share thoughts. They send video footage, and you have to filter it. You have to make up your mind, I'm not going to take this in. This is too painful. This is too violent. This is too sexual. This is too extreme. A modern example of why one needs to guard the mind can be heard by listening to the lyrics of an artist that has spent much of her career professing that after surviving poverty, addiction, domestic violence, she no longer harbors feelings of self-hate. Yet, she irresponsibly wrote some lyrics that will be imparted in young people's mind, particularly young women's minds. Her name is Mary J. Blige. Here are her lyrics. Bad boys ain't no good. Good boys ain't no fun. Lord knows that I should run off with the right one. Me and Mr. Wrong get along so good, even though he breaks my heart so bad, so bad. We got the special thing going on. Me and Mr. Wrong. Even if I tried, no, never could I give up, 'cause his love's like that. Ain't no way that I'm moving on. I love my Mr. Wrong. When he put that loving on me, I can't think of nothing that'll make me walk out. I'm holding on. I love my Mr. Wrong. He be kissing and touching on me. I can't help but to love him. I must be out of my mind for going so strong. I love my Mr. Wrong. You know you in trouble when your nickname for your significant is Mr. Wrong. The thoughts expressed in these lyrics position the woman for a life of misery. Her sole reason for staying in a self-described bad relationship is the sex. Thus she's driven from between her legs instead of from what's between her ears. Her thoughts cannot lead her towards increased health or wealth. In fact, her thoughts diminish her value. Every man knows Every man that knows her will conclude that he can treat her with the same disregard, encouraging one to question, what is the benefit of investing in something destructive to the self? Why should I invest in somebody that don't mind destroying themselves? You must guard the mind as to not program yourself to accept or create ridiculous, painful, or counterproductive life plans. You must guard the mind. Listen, to be great is to stand in your own authentic truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. I'm a woman, I'm a mother, and I'm an intellectual. And as E.E. Cummings put it, to be nobody but yourself in a world that's doing its best to make you somebody else is to fight the hardest battle you are ever going to fight. Do you need me to tell you that it's worth it? It's worth it. To be great is to recognize that you need to function with a personal code of ethics, not the job's ethics, not the club's ethics, not your sorority or fraternity's ethics, your personal code of ethics. That means you don't sacrifice yourself for something that's not aligned with your moral code. Listen, every man must have a cutoff. There should be something that you just won't do. And let me add, even for money. Even for money. As an adult, I've learned to describe it as my no-fly zone. This is an area that once you go in, it's a wrap. In the United States, with most major countries, they have a no-fly zone. This means that if your plane is caught flying in that area, you have 10 seconds to explain why you're there, or you can get out. But you have to account for yourself. To be great is to recognize the value of practicing self-control, self-purification. It is the only effective way to alter your circumstances. The only effective way. Self-control and self-purification. And let me highlight self-purification. We take in a lot of toxins. Friendships are toxic sometimes. Relationships are toxic. Music, information, even some of the things that we're doing to our bodies, smoking, the food we take in, that's all part of participating in self-purification. Can we do it all in one day? Absolutely not. But it does need to be a part of what we want for ourselves when we want to be great. Now, I need to warn you again, the circumstances does not make a man. Your circumstances actually reveal you to yourself. You learn who you are in crisis, not in peace. You learn who and what you are in a crisis, not in peace. To be great. You know what? As I'm wrapping up, finally, to be great is to love. You're not great if you can't love. You got to be able to love. Nat King Cole sang, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. The greatest teacher confirmed it. 1 Peter 4:8 states, above all, love each other deeply because love covers a multitude of sins. Most things can grow and heal and change with just a little love. And people, don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. We all need it. Don't ever say that you don't need it, because we all need to be loved. All right? Let's get back to the question I asked you at the beginning. Who are you when no one is looking? Let me give you another warning. Men imagine that thoughts can be kept secret. And I'm here to tell you that they cannot. Your thoughts will rapidly crystallize into habit, and habits solidify into circumstance, and your circumstance will always reveal you. The you are when you are left alone with your thoughts. The you are when you believe no one is watching. Are you a friend? A caregiver, a parent? Are you responsible, loving, faithful? Are you hardworking, private, fair? Are you a liar, a cheat, a scoundrel, a bamboozler? Do you practice double dealing? You know who you are. Now let me tell you my heart's desire. It is my wish that who you are when no one is looking is a person cultivating such powerful intellect and loving thought that the world looks at you and deems you as what it means to be great. I want your thoughts and your character to be so profound that the world calls you great. I wish that for you. I wish that for me. And in the process, I hope that you experience the most peaceful journey as you go about learning in this universe. You've been listening to Beyond the Surface Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Wanda Evans-Brewer. And until we chat again, be safe in God's grace.